I'm reading again, going back to the CBS News headline, and you said that you guys did not take over the police. Well, there isn't a police force there. This headline says that you did. You took over a small-town police force in the prisonerless jail. So you are saying that you guys are not the police now in Harding. You're not a private contractor police force.
That is absolutely correct. We are not a police force within Hardin, Montana, or within any other jurisdiction.
Do you have?
And let me explain a couple things there.
Sure.
When Two Rivers Authority, which I'm going to refer to now as TRA, because that's how we all call it up here. When TRA and my corporation were in negotiations for coming in and operating the detention facility, simultaneously, the city of Hardin and Bighorn County are working on deconsolidating their law enforcement. Right now, the sheriff's office provides all law enforcement in the city. And people here have joked that that was a questionable marriage and a dysfunctional marriage, and it's time for a divorce, and that's what's going on. So eventually, Hardin will have its own police department. TRA said to my coworkers at APF, we really need help creating infrastructure. It's going to take millions of dollars to create a police department, and we're the poorest county in Montana. This is not a wealthy community, and so they asked for some help with infrastructure. APF said, absolutely, we can do that. How about we just bring in the first set of cars for you guys? You won't have to buy cars. You can go forward. My boss and my coworkers, as a good faith gesture, brought those cars into town. And it's not even a good faith, it's on a promise.
Okay. And
so the cars come in. The choice was made to say, hey, here's what it could look like. Some APF folks, and keep in mind, this happened before I was hired last week. I've only been on duty here since Friday.
Okay.
APF made the decision to have some magnetic decals made that to put on the side of the car and say, here's a prototype of what could happen. This is yours, and this is how it could look if you chose. It didn't go over well here, Jack, and that's why you're getting the headlines that you just read to me.
I mean, I was really skeptical of this to begin
APF
with.
Staff walked out to the cars, took the decals off, and frankly, one of them is now my company car. I'm talking to you from one of them.
Okay. Well, the mayor, I guess Ron Adams, I guess he wanted you guys to remove those police logos. But what was interesting is when he was initially being interviewed, he seemed to not know much about what was going on. Was he just kind of keeping it under the hat, under the vest? He didn't want to say too much, or what was up with that? I mean, why did he not seem to know who you guys were and what was going on?
Part of that goes to the separation of powers that is allowable when, under Montana law, when a city creates a port authority. The port authority is a part of local government, is a part of city government, but it has a certain degree of autonomy. And under that, still all tied to local laws, still a public entity, TRA was able to work with APF, negotiate the contract for the detention facility, and ask for and receive the delivery of the vehicle. The mayor's not a member of the TRA board of directors. So if there's if
he was out of the loop.
Up on it, I'm assuming that it goes to that. And I have to be very careful to make sure people understand. It's my onus to make sure people understand. I speak for ATF. As a reporter, I covered TRA and Hardin like a blanket for more than 4 years.
You were with the
years.
Billings Gazette, I heard. And
I was.
Now you are the official spokesperson at $60,000 a year for the American Police Force Corporation. I got to go back again to this CBS thing. Are you guys trying to get them to retract what they've printed here that is out for all the world as allegedly a piece of reporting where they say you've taken over the police force? I mean, are you guys attempting to get that retracted or some kind of a correction there? I mean, obviously this is going to mislead people.
Obviously. Jack, one of the reasons that you and I are talking and I'm getting to share time with your listeners, is that you had the integrity through your sources to reach out to me and say, Becky, would you talk to us? Would you give us the full story? So
well, hold on. How many other people, Becky, have called you? How many of these alternative reporters out there that have been running with this story as a big, Nazi takeover? How many of them called you to get the record straight? Anyone?
There's one that after they published the information, and I said, it would be nice if they would have had the integrity to check with me, they started calling.
Yeah.
But
you know why?
Here's the thing.
You know why that is a lot of people. I think you know why that is a lot of people don't return the calls. We have a hard time in the alternative media getting people like yourself to even agree to sit in the chair and do the interviews. So some people just assume. But I think it's really professional of anyone out there in any news service at all to at least try to reach out. And I thank Jeremy, who helped us do that with you. So what else do we need to know here? It's interesting. I mean, I'd like to know, it doesn't say on your website who your CEO is, where your funding comes from. How can we do research on you guys and find out kind of what the corporate structure is? That'd be my first question. And the second is using the term police force. I didn't know you could even do that as a corporation. If you could answer those two, please.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a response, not an answer, and that's the woman with 20, the second generation reporter in me talking. I'm going to give you a response, not an answer.
Sure.
My response is that to find out about our corporation, there's a public document process, and that's available to anyone and everyone. That's our right is to the open process. This is a private corporation, so when it comes to questions about where does our funding come from and some other issues related to that funding, we're not releasing that information. What I can tell you about our money, about our funding, is it comes from business activities, some of which you and I have talked about and listed off, and some investors.
And as far as who those investors are, that is information you're not ready to disclose at this time?
Correct, sir.
Okay. And who is the CEO of the company then? Is that something you guys can answer, or it's not on your website that I can find?
Yeah, it is something I should be able to answer because I referred you to public document. But I'm asking people to go to public document right now. And Jack, I just want to make it clear. I started this job. I know who my boss is. I know who signs my paycheck. I know where my money comes from. But I started this job on Friday, and here you and I are today. You're giving me a national, international voice that, I just want to make sure I say the right things. And so
you want to make it till next Friday.
That's one of those things I need to make clear that what I'm supposed to say and how I say it. And, I hope you and I talk again. I hope that we have more conversations in the future.
Well, I definitely want to do that because we kind of caught you here at the spur of the moment, so I'm just asking a lot of the obvious questions. I would have some follow-up questions. Again, help me understand how it is even possible to use the name American Police Group or Police Force. It doesn't seem, I don't know. It's not only confusing, but it doesn't seem legal even.
Well, my first response to that is it's legal because we incorporated under that name. So that's been vetted by state government, and the name is fine.
Okay, Becky, we'll get back to you, and I do greatly appreciate. I think you really cleared up a lot of misconception here in our program today, and I know people are glad for that. Becky Shay from the AmericanPoliceGroup.com. They haven't taken over Montana. They've been hired. Thank you, Becky, for joining us. We'll come back right after this, folks.